So Russia has begun a major assault in Kursk with the goal of pushing Ukrainian forces out of that pocket once and for all. Now, I'm recording this at 8 a.m. Central on Saturday, March 8th, 2025. This is very much a fog of war type situation with conflicting reports coming out of both sides, but let's dive into what we're hearing from the Russian as well as the Ukrainian side. Now, starting out here with a map to kind of give you an idea of the area we're talking about. This is Deep State Map, a publicly available resource that will be available in the description below, as well as all of the sources that I'm citing in today's video. So what we're looking at here is Kursk, an area just across the border of northeastern Ukraine into Russian territory. A few months ago, Ukrainian forces moved in, and actually this map here from Syriac gives a better idea of how much territory Ukraine held. All of this red here at the initial point of this incursion was held by Ukrainian forces. They've slowly been moved back, pushed back by Russia until they really just hold this area here in and around the town of Sudza. To me, this one's a little more clean. Gives you an idea of what we're looking at. And right now we're seeing a couple major offensive actions taken by Russia in a few different directions. So let's go ahead and take a look at some Telegram channels here. Two majors. Says all units located in the Kursk front have gone on a large-scale offensive from all directions. Good progress is underway. The battles are very fierce and bloody in places. The enemy will be defeated. This is the most confident I've heard Russia talk about this Kursk pocket in a long time. And it's understandable that they're trying to push a focus here right now as the talks of a possible ceasefire are underway between the United States, Ukraine, and Russia. Two majors continued by saying the assault on Sudza has begun. And this is kind of hinting at what might be the final battle. They're really trying to close this pocket out once and for all. We've got Archangel of Special Forces, kind of went through a long list of exactly what's playing out here. He said after an unsuccessful attempt at a counterattack by the Ukrainian armed forces, airborne assault units cleared the forests and settlements from the enemy. After a short regrouping, a new offensive has begun. Multiple fighters from different units are taking place in the settlement itself. The enemy is actively resisting on the northern ledge, up in this section here, as there's great tactical importance for the Ukrainian armed forces. They say artillery and aviation has intensified in the area. Russian troops continue to complicate the enemy's logistics by blowing up bridges in the Sudza area. So as you can see, the waterways moving through here. There are going to be multiple small bridges to allow Ukrainian forces to keep their elements supplied. They said against this backdrop, Ukrainian formations are noticeably less active with artillery fire and FPV drones, and it's possible, thanks to our work, the Russian work, the Ukrainian armed forces are running out of artillery shells. It is possible in this area, when you're talking about one of the areas heavily affected by the shutoff of U.S. military aid, artillery shells is going to be one of them. They say almost all of the fashionable NATO equipment, along with the people in the fields, are being burnt at a ready state. The 61st OMB is not taking active action. The infantry is hiding in positions in trenches. Our troops are burning them out with helicopters and drone drops. At present, the Ukrainian group is in an extremely depressing situation where several thousand people may end up in a very large cauldron with no way out. And what they're getting at here is the idea really twofold. One, they might be able to sever this line of communication moving from Sumy into Kursk. This, of course, being the main line of communication to resupply all the troops in the Kursk pocket, with the majority of the soldiers located in and around Sudza, and that's where the push is coming from the north, the south, and it looks like a little bit here right along the border area. Now, there was a notice that part of this attack took place through kind of a tunnel network, if you will. So this one here, coming from military informant, said that pipes were used to infiltrate Sudza. They say, according to Ukrainian Pravda, the Russian armed forces used a gas pipeline to covertly transport an assault company of around 100 people to covertly penetrate the defensive lines of the Ukrainian armed forces in the vicinity of Sudza. They say this is probably an underground section of pipeline that runs through Sudza. Gas was pumped through it until January 1st of this year, and the diameter of the pipes can reach 1.5 meters. This was actually something that we saw take place down in Avdiivka. When Avdiivka finally fell, one of the issues there, one of the ways that Russia took advantage of getting into and behind the Ukrainian lines, was moving through some underground tunnel networks. Now, shifting back up here to Kursk, I think it's worth noting the Ukrainian response to all of this. By and large, they're saying not an issue. They have repelled attacks. The official Ukrainian line, as of this reporting, is that they have repelled 26 Russian attacks in the past 24 hours. They say, in addition, Russia has carried out 31 airstrikes using 42 guided bombs, as well as 444 artillery strikes on the positions of our troops, including 20 from multiple launch rocket systems. We have another note here from Ukrainian Telegram channel, Ukrainian Witness. They say on the morning of March 8th, about 100 Russians attempted to storm Sudzha using the Avdiivka scenario and pass through the gas pipeline to the positions of the Ukrainian Defense Forces in the Sudzha area. According to information from several sources, the enemy attempt completely failed due to a well-planned ambush and knowledge of the enemy's plans. Information requires confirmation. We're waiting for objective control. So again, the idea that this was infiltrated using gas pipelines, Russia is saying that appears to be the case. Ukraine is saying, well, they tried, but we figured it out and killed almost all of them before they were able to execute that mission. And then we have some more notes here from the Ukrainian side. Orianyala, my apologies for the pronunciation there, Ukrainian, citing RBK Ukraine, says Ukrainian sources are not leaving Kursk. There is no encirclement of troops. And this comes on the back of a report earlier today or late yesterday from The Telegraph, a British publication, saying that 10,000 Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region are currently under the threat of encirclement. They said that Telegraph publication said 3/4 of Ukrainian forces in Russia are reported to be in a state of near total encirclement and at a risk of being split in two. That split in two is understandable right here at the bottom. It depends how many are actually in the southern pocket. They say the troops remaining near the border are connected to the main forces through a narrow corridor about 1 kilometer long and less than 500 meters wide at its narrowest point. That appears to be what they're talking about right here with this road connecting the two. However, I would have to think that they'd be able to resupply in some way, shape, or form from the other side of the Ukrainian border here. Turning back to the Telegraph, they claim that the main offensive against the Ukrainian armed forces began after the United States stopped exchanging intelligence with Ukraine. And I think that's important to keep in mind for the overall context here, regardless of what we see in terms of the overall outcome of this offensive operation. The timing is notable as we're moving towards what appear to be some degree of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine and the United States. Right now is the time that Russia really ramps up the fighting in the Kursk region. But turning back to another Ukrainian assessment here, again coming from Orialana, citing RBK Ukraine, she says, according to the publication, despite the complication of this situation, the Ukrainian command currently has no plans to withdraw troops. On the contrary, measures are being taken to stabilize the situation, and countermeasures are being planned. She says the aggressor's plans, according to the journalist, is to cut the Sudzha-Sumy road and create an operational encirclement of Ukrainian troops. So pretty clear to see what that road is here. It's the major line of communication, the major paved road moving from Ukrainian territory that's really kept all Ukrainian forces in Kursk supplied. They talk about the Telegraph, about the encirclement of Ukrainian forces. Russia claims that about 6.5 thousand Ukrainian forces are in this cauldron, so slightly less than the Telegraph's claim of 10,000. However, as RBK Ukraine says, the situation is not yet catastrophic and the troops are not surrounded there. They say the situation in the Kursk bridgehead began to deteriorate after Russian troops advanced northwest from Sudzha. So in this area here to the Ukrainian state border, this area here. They say currently they want to make their way all the way across here to sever this tie with the Sumy Oblast. They say the next threatening step was the breakthrough of the joint Russian-Korean units near the state border down, again, near this area here. And they say the width of the Ukrainian bridgehead in the Kursk region has now been reduced effectively to 11 kilometers. Conducting defense and combat operations is complicated by the forested terrain and the enemy's massive use of fiber optic drones. That's really where we've seen these drones with cables attached to the back to kind of counter Ukrainian electronic warfare. Kursk is where we've seen those primarily take hold. But again, we've got a lot of mixed information right now. Ukraine, by and large, saying they are repelling Russian attacks. Russia saying that they are seeing great success. And just a personal opinion, reading between the lines, the Russians are more optimistic right now than I've seen them on any offensive operation in quite a while. So the Kursk area is certainly a region to keep an eye on, and we'll do just that. But that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.